Boy, do I have a story for you guys today. Wow. This is going to be one of the craziest stories I've ever told on this channel. And this just happened today. So, as you can imagine, I'm having a pretty great day today. Let's get into it. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's go. So basically the way this story starts is by me getting out there and conquering my fear. Today I conquered a big fear of mine, an irrational fear at that. And the fear was basically that, this is going to sound very silly, but basically I had this fear that if I were to walk back into my high school, I would somewhat turn back into my high school self. I can't really explain it in words, but it was like I feared the person that I was back then and like regressing back to that level. I've had this several times where if I fail on self-improvement a certain amount, like if I deem myself to be regressing, I start panicking and thinking that I'm going back to my former self. And obviously I don't like my former self, which is probably not a good thing, but it also has to do with the fact that I'm very proud of the progress that I've made, and I like myself for who I am now, not who I was in the past. You guys could probably argue that that is a negative mindset to be in to some extent, but I ended up conquering my fear. I went into my high school. Today was the very last day of school for the year, so I had to do it, otherwise I would never get the chance to. I rolled up, and obviously I was a little nervous, but I talked to a bunch of my teachers. They were all very happy to see me, very receptive towards me and everything. They were just great, as I knew they would, but, you know, I was psyching myself into thinking, like, what if I get yelled at for being in school? Which actually kind of did happen. They did alert me several times that I'm not supposed to be there, but I kind of just ignored them. Anyway, the point is this. So basically the point of this story has nothing really to do with me walking into my high school, but somehow me confronting that fear head on led me into a very strange and different situation that I would normally never be in. So let's just jump straight into it. As I'm backing out of my high school parking lot, I see one of my friends. We'll call him Henry for the purpose of this video. I see him, I call out to him, he comes over to me. He says that he's done with school for the year and he's going home. So I live right next to him. So I tell him, hop in the car and I'll give you a ride. As we're driving, we realize that we both actually don't have much to do today, and we decide to go to a nearby town called Piermont. Now, Piermont is a place that I've went to for most of my life. It's Piermont, New York. Sorry, there's a bird like absolutely destroying my roof. I don't know why. But Piermont, New York was the place that we were going to. And we drive there. I drive because he doesn't actually have his license. We end up in the parking lot of this like little prairie area that I always go to. It's kind of like a dock with a water view, and it's very beautiful there. Actually, I'm going to put a picture right here. And we go there, and we eat our food. Nothing really special happens. We pay, we leave the restaurant, and then I tell him, listen man, let's go for a walk along the pier. I mean, it's the last day of your high school. Let me show you a good time, you know. I'm trying to have some fun. So we're walking down the pier, and for a while we're just talking about life, about all sorts of stuff actually. And all of a sudden we come across these two guys walking towards us. And it was weird because I've seen them walking the other way a few minutes prior, but this time they're coming straight towards us. So they're like, you know, they're like, hey, what's up? Can we talk to you for a second? So like, you know, I was receptive right away because I'm always pretty nice when people come up to me. Why not, right? And basically what these people asked me is, or ask us rather, is what do you guys think of acid and cigars? Now, obviously, that's a pretty weird question, right? Especially coming from strangers. Like, usually most people might be bugged out about that. But the truth of the matter is, these guys were just trying to break the ice and start talking to us because they were probably just looking for people to talk to and trying to exercise their social skills. So I took some initiative. I started controlling the conversation and the situation. I asked them what their names are. I got their Instagram accounts, and I asked them to walk with us. Little do we know, we end up on an hour-long walk. And one of the guys was named Victor. I fell behind with Victor, while Henry went with a guy named Philip ahead of us. And we just started talking about like everything, about life, about college experience, about like scary things that have happened to us in the past, and all this different stuff that was pretty deep and like philosophical and also practical and logical, and it was just a great conversation. And we got their contact info. We talked for like a while. We talked as a group, we talked individually, and overall it was clear that we had really great chemistry with these guys. And eventually we split ways because we had to go one way, they had to go the other way. But I felt such like a brotherhood between these people and me and Henry that I was like just in such a great mood. And lately I've been pretty starved for social connection because of the summer starting, obviously, and no one really wanting to hang out all that much. That definitely prompted some anxiety and some level of loneliness that everyone probably feels at some point in their life. But there was such a bond that was formed with these random people, and the only reason why it was able to happen and why it was able to work is because these people showed initiative. Me and Henry showed initiative towards them, and we just let life happen. Like, we didn't sit and analyze what's going on right now, like what's the situation, yada yada. We just went with the flow. And sometimes when you go with the flow, unbelievable things can happen. Stuff that you would never even expect. And just life can be so beautiful if you let it be. Like, you guys would be so surprised how many people are in your exact predicament of looking for new friends and just wanting people to talk to, that like you're just letting yourself miss out on opportunities. Obviously, you don't have to walk up to someone and say, what do you think about acid and cigars? Even though that was pretty hilarious in my opinion. I love that like opener because it's so unique, and it makes me think that it made me think that they were deep people off the bat, which I love. But we were talking about like all sorts of self-improvement and like approaching girls and stuff, approaching strangers, which was obviously what they were doing at that current moment. So it was just a great time, and me and Henry talked about it afterwards. We acknowledged how great of a time it was and just reminisced on the past and stuff. And today, honestly, it was a weird day, you know? Stuff happens that you really would never expect, but think about it. If I never went out to Piermont today, I never would have experienced this. This is literally just telling you guys to get out into the world and experience life for what it truly is, instead of just locking yourself down to your like baseline experiences that you've already been through a million times. Branch out and meet new people because it's guaranteed to pay off. And if it doesn't, then hey, you're upgrading your social skills. There's nothing wrong with that. I've been definitely in a cycle of overanalyzing everything, and this kind of snapped me back to reality, made me realize that there are good people out there, and got me in the right frame of mind. So with that being said, guys, basically, face your fears and good things will come out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Adios.